What I feel like should I never say it? I'll ask my kids out.
Which is a big chance because they're in a lot of the same classes. Why did she say hi to me?
Well, I'm so happy to have you.
When is more truly here than this? Earrings too, right? Earrings and
the earrings and then here's a little.
Yeah, yours is better.
I know.
Mr. Cho, were you okay to say hi to you in class?
No, I felt bad. I was like, wait, I know her. I think I know her.
We're re-entering open session at 7:30 p.m. May I have a roll call?
Member Durr? Here. Member Dr. Ko?
Here.
Member Cooley?
Here.
Member Wisniewski?
Here.
Member Stennett?
Here.
Member Dr. Akras?
Here.
And Member Wood?
Here. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay, seeing none. We will now proceed to public comment. We will hear in-person comments in the order that they were received. Each individual will have up to 3 minutes for their comment. The board secretary, Candace Cooley, will let you know when your time has expired. Public comment will proceed for 1 hour. Calling to the dais, Matthias Sullivan.
Hello, my name is Matthias Sullivan. I'm an 8th grader at Old Orchard, and I'm going to be going to Niles North next year. Today, I'm here to present a case on something I think is rather important. it was my interpretation that ASL should not just be offered as an after-school club at Niles North High School, but rather that it be adopted as a formal foreign language offering so students can take it to meet their foreign language requirement in District 219. Here's my reasoning. It's a language skill that is very useful in a variety of careers in education, health, government, recreation, and therapy, so it would integrate with the kinds of special paths 219 already promotes along its students. Illinois already, there's a typo.
Okay.
For students who struggle with learning other languages, ASL could provide an alternative language that would be more appealing. Learning ASL could help promote deaf education as a possible career path when, as NTDSE will tell you, we face a shortage of special education leaders in our area amid growing demand for those services. This could help students learn about deaf culture and history throughout the contributions of the deaf community and interpreting to Illinois and the wider USA. It could also provide better integration between hard of hearing students and other students served by District 219. ASL is the third most used language in the USA after English and Spanish, and Illinois is home to nearly 400,000 people who identify as deaf. Meanwhile, by me and my mom's research, there's at least 14 high school districts in Illinois who currently offer ASL instruction meeting the state of Illinois' foreign language requirements. The most recent to adopt ASL are Oswego, started in 2024, and Alton and Springfield started offering it this fall. In Springfield, 50 students signed up for the first trimester it was offered. My mom helped me contact the Illinois State Board of Education to inquire about high schools with ASL, and they reached out to Lockport Township High School, which kindly offered to share their info on their ASL programming with District 219. I put their contact information at the bottom of the page I handed to you. Thank you for your time considering this request.
Thank you, Matthias. We appreciate that. All right. Now we will have comments from our board representatives. First, we'll hear from Amara from Niles West.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amara, the board representative for Niles West. I hope everyone had an amazing summer and a smooth start to the school year. Before I dive into activities, I want to highlight the recent Wolf of the Month recognition breakfast. Each month, every department at Niles West honors students who exemplify hard work, leadership, and dedication through this program. So congratulations to this month's Wolves who have gone above and beyond. And next, I'm excited to announce that Dance Marathon has once again partnered with the Niles Township Food Pantry as our beneficiary this year. They also hosted the first event of the year, the annual 5K walk and run, with all proceeds donated to the food pantry. I'd also like to mention a current transition at Niles West and even North. We've shifted the model for student leadership away from the traditional student government and individual class cabinets to a collaborative associated student body. This team oversees and supports the culture and climate of our schools. ASB's first event, the 2025 Niles West Homecoming, was a huge success. The theme was GlowCo and featured a Niles West student DJ. It was an inclusive event with spaces like the cafeteria and outdoor areas dedicated to activities beyond dancing, so everyone felt welcome. The next event in development is the Trunk or Treat, a community-wide event where a diverse array of clubs at Niles West will decorate cars with Halloween themes. Kids from our feeder schools will come to trick or treat, making it a fun event for community bonding. Speaking of feeder schools, an exciting opportunity is currently being planned. Our leaders are organizing a day where Niles West students will return to feeder schools to partner with principals and curriculum directors. They'll share experiences and teach the West Way, which will help students transition smoothly from middle school to high school. And as we wrap up fall sports, we want to congratulate all teams and athletes on a great season. Additionally, congratulations to the theater team for organizing and executing their first play of this year. Finally, I want to recognize the incredible work of our counselors who continue to guide our seniors in preparing for college and post-secondary opportunities through small group meetings and individualized support. It's inspiring to see so many students, staff, and clubs working together to make Niles West such a vibrant and supportive community. I'm proud of everything we've accomplished so far this year, and I can't wait to see what's ahead. Thank you all for your time tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Amara. And now we will hear from Ashley from Niles North.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education and District 219 community. I'm so happy to be back tonight to share some of the incredible things happening within Niles North Athletics. Over the past few months, our sports programs have continued to showcase what makes our community special: student leadership, resilience, and unity. Let's begin with girls flag football. After a highly successful debut season, our girls flag football team is back hungrier and stronger than ever. They posted a 4-1 record so far in our conference, including a 21-0 win over Niles West. New coaching has sharpened their technique, but what stands out is how their team is building its own identity. Last year, they lost many veterans, which required others to step into leadership roles. This past season has shown how growth happens when students lean into responsibility. The girls swim and dive team is also making waves in more ways than one. At their first meet, the team gathered momentum, cheering each other on, refining technique, and learning to thrive under pressure. Their dual meets against rivals like Niles West have been tight and spirited, and the team's morale remains high heading into conference competitions. What's powerful is how the swimmers lean on each other in and out of the pool, creating an environment where each other's progress fuels the whole. Then there's girls golf, where they started a new chapter this year. Just a year ago, there was no girls golf team at all. Now, the program is in its second season. Junior Magdalena led the effort to bring the sport here, saying it's about integrity, perseverance, and teamwork. Because the program is new, every player is helping to shape its culture, deciding what it means to be a Viking golfer. The school helps provide clubs for students who might not be able to afford them otherwise, so that barriers don't prevent students from joining the team. These teams demonstrate that athletics is not only about wins and losses. It's about mentorship, identity, and student choice. Each has its own challenges, but also its own triumphs, and every athlete contributes to the story of our school. Okay. And every month, I have shared stories that remind us of our school, stories that remind us not only what students do, but who they are becoming. And lately, what I've seen across our classrooms, clubs, and teams is a renewed sense of purpose. Students aren't just participating, they're building things that last. Take Refugees in Need, a DECA project inspired by Dance Marathon's partnership with the Chicago Refugee Coalition. After learning about Chicago's role as a sanctuary city, a group of students decided to act. They reached out to Refugee One, hosted educational seminars, and even partnered with Skokie Public Library to raise awareness and debunk myths about refugees. Their upcoming hygiene drive and drink sale will directly support local refugee families. It's an example of students turning empathy into impact. Then there's Students for Free Tibet, a chapter led primarily by Niles North students who stay up late on Zoom calls, organize protests, and even travel to Capitol Hill to lobby for legislation. They remind us that student voices don't stop at the walls of Niles North. It echoes across states and borders. Their work shows how young people can resist silence, advocate for justice, and use education as a form of activism. Projects like Cookies and Careers show that service starts at home. As a first-generation student-led DECA legacy project, it connects students from immigrant and refugee backgrounds to professional resources. From interview workshops to resume-building sessions at Skokie Public Library, they're helping their peers feel confident about their future. And finally, clubs like Uplifting Health continue to grow, drawing in more underclassmen and expanding conversations around wellness and coping with stress. Their upcoming fall event, in collaboration with Students for Lurie Children's, invites all students to decorate pumpkins, share treats, and support UNICEF. It's simple, joyful, and meaningful, everything student life should be about. That's where our school is going, towards connection, compassion, and courage. Every initiative, every club, and every late-night brainstorming session reflects one thing: students who care deeply about the world and about each other. Finally, until now, Niles North has followed a traditional student council framework, supplemented by separate boards for freshmen, juniors, and seniors. While the model has served us, it often left the student leadership segmented, voices oftentimes being duplicated or isolated. In contrast, the new Associated Student Board is assigned to unify student governance under one umbrella, so that all parts of our student body are connected, coordinated, and empowered. This approach opens new doors. There will be more student-led programming. With ASB, we'll see more events organized by students for students, not just top-down. There will be greater ownership of school spirit and culture. Rather than relying solely on adults, students will have a real say in traditions, celebrations, and how we mark togetherness. There will be a more amplified, diverse voices, as this model will give space to students from all walks of life to bring their perseverance into a unified decision-making process. And finally, there will be more leadership growth. Students will practice real governance, event planning, budgeting, and collaboration at a scale they haven't before. In short, ASBs represents a shift from top-down leadership towards shared stewardship. Students won't just attend games, they'll help decide how we celebrate it. They won't just be spectators, they'll help set the tone. When we listen to student voices, we don't just see school pride, we nurture the very leaders who will shape our future. Thank you for your time, and have a great night.
Thank you both. I really appreciate when both of you set aside the time, especially on a school night, to come and hang out with us. You all offer us the opportunity to touch grass, right? We hear actually what's happening, and we appreciate you both. So you're fine examples of District 219. Thank you.
Now we're ready to move towards the approval of the consent agenda. Does anyone want to pull an item off of the consent agenda? Okay. Please know that before we move to voting on the consent agenda, that each of these items have been discussed thoroughly within committee, and during those committees, we have discussed whether or not to actually move them to the consent agenda. All of these items were discussed and moved to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
No.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. Now we move on to the business of the evening. First people up are Ray and Christine talking about a review of the graduation requirements. This is an item for discussion.
All right. Hi, everyone. We have a quick slide deck to talk about the graduation requirements. It is in Board Policy 6300, and so tonight will just be a discussion about what's in there, some upcoming legislation, some changes that we'd like to recommend. I do want to draw attention really quick to also to Policy 2240, which talks about policy development. And so we do still need to bring the revisions of 6300 to the Policy Committee. We'll meet later this month. And then any recommendations from the Policy Committee we'll bring back in November. Okay?
Mm-hmm. All right, so as shared in the memo, as an Illinois public high school district, District 219 is required to uphold the graduation requirements set forth by the Illinois State Board of Education. Local school boards, however, may vote to implement additional graduation requirements, which are summarized here. So in the memo is a full table that outlines how District 219 meets the state graduation requirements, and in which areas the board has previously voted to implement additional graduation requirements. So from that, public speaking, which is a 1-credit course, an additional year of a lab science, which is 2 credits, an additional semester of social studies, which is 1 credit, and 1 or 2 years of reading for identified students, 2 to 4 credits. Those are all in addition to the state requirements. So also included are a summary of what the state participation requirements are. So the following state participation requirements are different than graduation requirements in that when you have a graduation requirement, in order for the state to approve the issuance of a diploma, if one of those graduation requirements isn't met, a waiver has to be applied for the students to be exempt from those graduation requirements. Whereas a participation requirement, the onus is on the district to ensure that it's included in the curricula, and that's checked through our regular audits with the Regional Office of Education. So while these are participation requirements, District 219 has chosen to embed them into local graduation requirements. So that's how we as a district ensure that those participation requirements for the state are met by each student. So one of the reasons why we are looking at this particular policy, we originally had it scheduled for, I believe, either November or December, is because House Bill 2170, which is the Education and Workforce Equity Act, was signed into law in 2021. The law was aimed at decreasing racial gaps in opportunities and attainment, and it added new graduation requirements for schools that are in line with what's necessary for entry at state universities. So with the entering class of 9th grade class of 2022, there was an addition of computer literacy and the expansion of qualifying electives. We had already met that with our requirements already, so that wasn't an addition to the graduation requirements at that time. Similarly, there was a change in the science requirements. Instead of just science, it was added that it should be a lab science, but all of our sciences that are required are lab sciences, so we already met that requirement. The new one that we'll have to change our graduation requirements for is the 2 years of world languages. The other legislation that's impacting our graduation requirements is House Bill 3296, which is the expansion of the 2016 Post-Secondary and Workforce Readiness Act, signed into law in 2022. And it establishes expectations for implementing the Post-Secondary and Career Expectations, PACE, framework, and the College and Career Pathway Endorsement framework. So in July 1st, 2025, we had to integrate the PACE framework, which we did. Our counselors have done an incredible job integrating all of the ways in which we want to make sure our students are prepared for post-secondary opportunities. And they've been utilizing homerooms, extended homerooms, and pushing into grade level courses to ensure that those the curricula and lessons are is received by all students. The other piece of this act is for the class of 2027, we have to provide at least one college and career pathway endorsement. And in additional years, so specifically 2029, we have to offer 2 of them. And in 2031, we have to offer 3 college and career pathway endorsements. So to get a better idea of what this all looks like, these are each of the benchmarks at 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade that ensure that a student has the preparation and is equipped for the tools to be ready to make those post-secondary decisions. So the PACE framework specifically provides actionable benchmarks for what we want students to know and be able to do at each grade level to make informed post-high school decisions. So examples of what's integrated across the 4 years is internship and career exploration, information about financial aid, college application processes, all of which are included in our counseling curricula that's again delivered through homeroom or pushed into grade levels. In short, we want to equip our students so they have the choice and options. The last thing we would ever want for our students is for them to want for something and then to realize that they didn't do enough of the learning or preparation early on in their high school career. So we want to make sure that we're providing students with access and opportunity so that they can make choices and be able to attain those post-secondary opportunities. The other piece included in that legislation is the College and Career Pathway Endorsement. If students complete a College and Career Pathway Endorsement, it'll appear on their diploma. So it's an official recognition that a student has completed a focused learning path demonstrating college and career readiness. So that path includes 3 components: professional learning, career-focused instruction, and academic readiness. The 2 areas that will impact our current graduation requirements, which warrants a review, is the career-focused instructional sequence. And so that is 2 years of coursework that articulate to post-secondary credentials and at least 6 hours of early college credit. The other component that's going to impact our graduation requirements is the professional learning. So that includes anything from internships, apprenticeships, and career exploration. So with all of these, one of the reasons why it's crucial that we review our graduation requirements is that we want to ensure that we have the time and space for students to pursue both the college and career pathway endorsements, which includes the courses that align to what
So what we will be bringing to the policy committee. What we are bringing to the policy committee is a couple of things. We want to remove 3 items from 6300. Number 4, public speaking graduation requirement. Number 9, the annual internet safety instruction, and 10, the removal of the reading requirement. The revisions we'd like to add speak to the 2 the House bills that Christine just walked through. Would be to include debate and world languages as a qualifying electives, and to reflect the current practice of consumer ed into our coursework. Also, beginning in 28-29, the addition of the 2 world languages and the revision of to specify the 3rd year. So in sequence, what does this look like? We do want to take this to policy committee. We are talking through a lot. The agenda is already big in terms of we're doing a press overhaul, plus we're trying to do some revisions from 2 memos ago. And so we'd like to bring this to the policy committee for review, and then we'd like to bring this back to the November meeting for a final read. And we'll separate this out with the other policies, just so we can get this, if the board approves, get this approved for this semester, or in this semester for the next school year.
So a little more detail that we wanted to provide on the removal piece, because that obviously has an impact on what our students' program of study would include. That's within our control. So the safety instruction is something that's been already integrated into our curricula and is no longer a graduation requirement of the state. The reading requirement has always been in practice a recommendation and suggestion for students who would benefit from additional reading support. So removing it from the graduation requirement isn't saying that students don't need it. We just don't want it to be something that prevents a student from earning a diploma within our district. The public speaking requirement, this is one that's an actual credit that students have earned previously. So we wanted to share some history about how it came about, especially since looking around, it doesn't look like too many of us were here at the time that it was added to the catalog and to the requirements. So it was approved by the Board of Education in December of 2011 and implemented during the 2012-2013 school year. So that incoming 9th grade class that started in 2012-13 were the first ones who needed the public speaking requirement in order to graduate. And the intention of it was to support and grow the debate and drama programs. So with any decision, especially when it's being recommended to the board, we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and looking at the data and how it's actually been implemented within our district. So we pulled enrollment data since 2014, because that's the earliest that we could obtain. The blue line, which is the intro to debate, is the course that meets the public speaking requirement. And then the debate and advanced debate courses, that shows the district-wide enrollment, so that you can see as to whether or not the intent of building up those 2 programs was successful by adding that public speaking requirement. So the other area in which the graduation requirement was intended to support the programs was drama. So the course for which the public speaking requirement, the theater workshop is the course that meets that requirement. And then each of those courses are within the department and shows their enrollment over time. So anecdotally speaking, some of the reasons why we see some decline perhaps in enrollment for public speaking courses is that since 2014, there have been more options for public speaking courses. 2 of them, or 3 of them, I can't remember, are actually on the agenda tonight for approvals for new course, for course revisions. And so with the additional options that students have for meeting that public speaking requirement, some of the intentions that might have been the reasoning as to why the public speaking credit was added as a graduation requirement in the first place might not necessarily be reflected in our current practice. All right, and that is all we have. So I guess questions for us, since this is a discussion item.
Okay. Questions from the board? Can we go back to the slide with the removals and additions? So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Removing the public speaking graduation requirement, removing internet safety, removing reading. We're not going to stop doing any of those things. Reading is still required in high school. Sorry, guys. We're still going to be embedding public speaking into classes, and we're still going to be practicing and teaching internet safety. Want to make sure that we're all aligned on that. Help me understand where the include debate and world languages into qualifying electives. Is that the debate club? Is that a class? Help me understand that.
So let me think of how so ISB's list of courses that meet the requirement for fine and practical arts or electives actually includes debate and world language already, but because we had them in different spaces of our graduation requirements, it wasn't necessarily counted in the same way. So if the public speaking requirement were to be removed, it would make sense that students can still take that to fulfill an elective as required by ISB.
So it's still making sure that it counts as an elective and not just kind of out there in the ether.
It still fulfills a graduation requirement. It's just not in its own category of a graduation requirement. And I don't know if I answered it in my response, but this would be forensic speech, or in our case, the debate and show course.
Okay.
And then theater workshop is one that fits within the fine and practical arts category, so that would also meet that graduation requirement.
As an elective. Okay. Other questions? Lindley?
Yeah, I have a question. So like you mentioned, you know, you don't want these to stand in the way of someone to get a diploma, right? So like, do you have any data on like if that has happened, like for the public speaking one? So like if people not graduated because they didn't meet the public speaking requirement, like has this been a problem? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's the impetus for wanting to take away that one?
So it's in enough courses that there's not been students who have not been able to fulfill it. That said, I've not done a comprehensive, were there any students? With any local requirements, the Board of Education, we get to decide whether or not we want to uphold that for individuals with different circumstances. Similarly, if we want a student to graduate early, that may be a requirement that we choose to not require if they want to finish in 3 years versus 4 years. Whereas if it's a state graduation requirement, we have to petition the state to allow for us to get that exempt from the student's diploma.
Other questions? Celia?
Yes. So with public speaking not being a requirement, or that's the proposal, right, to remove that, you said their public speaking credit is already embedded in current courses that you're taking. Then that will impact enrollment into those particular classes because public speaking won't be a requirement. Is that correct?
It's possible that it will get enrollment, but there's also a lot of the current courses that are meeting the public speaking requirement may be a course that fits within the college and career pathway of the student's choice. So there are different areas where those courses fit, but it's not necessarily a requirement that every student has to take the same 2 or 3 options of courses.
Okay. And then just some clarification on the, I actually am surprised that 2 years wasn't a requirement. I thought it was, 2 years of language, sorry, just to clarify. I didn't know that that wasn't a requirement. It wasn't until I looked at that and I was like, oh. But it is something that I think a lot of the counselors are recommending because colleges are, you know, requiring two years of language. In regards, so I guess on that point, do we see a lot of students still taking the 2 years of language, or do we see either taking 1 year or none at all?
Yeah, we have a lot of students taking 2 years of language, and part of the reason why there is a shift to officially adding it as a graduation requirement is because that is what's recommended for college admissions.
Right.
And so counselors are rightfully recommending it, and students are doing it because of the competitive advantage it provides for college admissions, but also just post-secondary opportunities.
Yeah. And then just a clarification on the revision to specify third year of world language. Help me understand that.
So when 28-29 hits and everyone is required to do 2 languages, if you do a 3rd language, that counts as a graduation required elective.
Okay.
Whereas up until then, 1 year fulfills that 1 year requirement.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
The unique thing about languages with us, just quickly, is because I've always, like, if it's my kids, I'm telling them you're taking 4 years, you're applying. So many of our students can get the bilingual certification that their transcript actually looks a little bit different. Christine and I were talking about this week. She pointed out the numbers to me, that it actually does change our student profile a little bit vis-a-vis other districts.
Well, and to clarify, Christine, I just want to make sure the addition of the 2 years of world language, that's mandated by the state as a requirement, not something that
That's
is
happening.
Right, okay. Lindley?
So can you just like explain to me, I'm still just confused as to why we are wanting to remove the public speaking graduation requirement.
So the more requirements that we have, the less flexibility students have in choices of courses that they're able to take. And so if we are wanting to commit to giving our students choice and opportunity in college and career pathways and pursuing the college and career pathway endorsement, the more requirements that we have for students that don't necessarily align with what their pathway may be, the less flexibility they have in their schedule.
So it's part of the clear paths model, right? We're removing superfluous requirements.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we have more flexibility.
That makes sense.
But again,
From my perspective, it's more so giving choice. We want for students to choose what courses best
Yeah.
align with what their post-secondary goals are.
but again, not removing the skills or the education being taught and provided, is that these classes will still be happening.
Right.
And people will still be learning public speaking, which, as we all know, turns out is important.
So how many, and I think that you've said this before in a meeting, in another meeting that I was in, but can you tell me again, how many courses right now actually have a public speaking requirement in it, that you get it?
Uniquely about 15.
All right, other questions? Noor, any questions?
No, none for me, thanks.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, seeing no more questions, we look forward to continued discussion both at the policy committee as well as at our November meeting. We are going to now move on to new course proposals for 26-27. Christine, can you please make sure to take us through not just your presentation of it, but also kind of the process with which we will need to fulfill our obligation this evening?
All right. So last month, myself and our curriculum directors presented the courses that were proposed by teachers in each of the departments. And also shared last week and now officially on the memo are the votes of the official recommendations provided by the voting members of the Teaching and Learning Council. So they had the choice to recommend the course, not recommend the course, or recommend that the course is delayed, meaning it's not a no, but we need more information or more time before fully endorsing this course. And so tonight, the board members, all of you, will vote on each course individually to either approve or not approve its addition to our catalog for students to select for the 26-27 school year. So since the last board meeting, there have been some revisions that I just want to highlight. So one of the revisions was to the Assyrian language and culture. You might recall that there was a question that was posed as to what's the equivalent of a third level language for heritage speakers. And so the teachers proposing the course went back to the department, and the proposal was revised to also include AP Spanish language, because that's the third year of language for our heritage students. Another revision to a course proposal was to the culinary arts. That was a name change and some of the changes to the other names of the courses within the culinary arts sequence. And so those are the changes from then until now. I'm not sure what else information you might need before making a decision, or if you need any additional input from me as to our timeline for any of the future curriculum review or course proposals.
So why don't we start with general questions or conversation related to the overall curriculum and course proposals, should there be any. Then we're going to go through one proposal at a time, and we're going to request a motion, request a second, we're going to have discussion, and then we'll have a roll call. Are there any questions on the overarching process or any questions or clarifications that Christine needs to make?
I just have one for the world language. So
Candace, can you turn on your mic? Thank you, friend.
for the level 3 public speaking credit, so if we're saying we're going to remove that, does it matter now, or?
That's a great question. So the timing is a little off only because the official vote from the board won't come until November.
Okay.
So if the board votes to keep the public speaking requirement, the next step, I believe, that we will do as a teaching and learning council and as a district is to ensure that we have criteria for courses that are actually meeting the public speaking requirement, so that we have a common expectation for what that graduation requirement entails. And so if approved for world languages, for example, it would either go through that criteria if the graduation requirement is kept, or if the board chooses to remove that, and then it would be one that's not needed for that particular course.
Okay.
All right, excellent. Any other questions or clarifications?
Yeah, when we go through each course, because I have a question regarding the teacher internship, there was a delay.
We'll have
do it
time
while we're
during
in
that
it?
one.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the new Assyrian Language and Culture 4 regular and honors course?
So moved.
May I have a second? Discussion. Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the revised World Language Level 3 Public Speaking Credit?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? I have to say, I think that should the district stick with a public speaking requirement, it only makes sense that every world language, certainly at that level, should include it, because you are public speaking at that point for the most part. You are presenting, you are doing things. It absolutely makes sense. And if you can do it in a second language, mazel tov. Any other discussion? Okay. May I have a roll call?
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the revised astronomy course?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I'm excited that this is a upper level semester class and hopefully offers opportunities to kind of fill in some of those gaps that our, science forward students are looking towards. Any other discussion? May I have a roll call?
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the revised current senior PE leaders earn honors credit?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Christine?
Yeah, so this is one where, for those of you who are part of our Teaching and Learning Council, there was a lot of discussion about, as we're looking through the course book and how we're potentially aligning to different criteria for graduation requirements, there's also what criteria do we have as a district for each of our levels of courses, so regular, honors, AP, and dual credit. And so it brought up the question of how is this course as an honors going to be potentially different? So we don't necessarily have that criteria yet. So my recommendation would be to use this year to develop that criteria and then represent the senior PE leaders, so it's clear as to how that meets the honors credit that it would then be awarded.
Can I clarify, has the presenting teacher been advised of this?
Yes, so Joe Collins, the director, and I spoke, and he worked with the teachers and has developed a plan and timeline for how we will work through that over the course of the year.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. Roll call, please.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Hang on one second, friends. Let's go ahead and clarify what the vote means. The current recommendation of the board is, or of the administration, is to vote no to hold and push this until next year after rubric has been established. Should you continue to vote yes, that is absolutely at your leisure, but understand that that is a vote that is, I just want to make sure you understand the direction, what direction your vote means.
Or should we vote to delay?
Well, it's not a
no,
vote to
we
delay
vote-
because
okay.
the motion is to approve.
Got it.
And so
Okay.
in order to not approve it and push it back to the committee, we have to vote no.
Okay,
Does
got
that
it.
make sense? Okay. So may I have a roll call, please?
Member Stennett?
No.
Member Wisniewski?
No.
Member Dr. Akras?
No.
Member Cooley?
No.
Member Durr?
No.
Member Dr. Ko?
No.
Member Wood?
No. Okay. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the new brass technique and woodwind technique course?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? I think it's really interesting. I love the fact that the band and orchestra folks are setting aside time to really essentially build up our new Wolves and Vikings in this class. They are really working to break down. It's a little less scary to go into a giant band as a freshman, a little bit more comfortable space. I think it'll make them more successful overall. And anybody who can tolerate that noise, good luck to you. Any discussion?
So,
You good? No, no. Now's the time, friend. Okay.
I think he was going to say so moved.
May I have a roll call on the brass to win-win technique class?
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Durr?
yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the new teacher internship course?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yes.
Okay, now discussion.
Just clarification on the 3 delay. What was, if you could give us some info.
Yeah, so there was some concern about access for students who are taking this because it was only really available for a student who wanted to do the experience at an elementary school district, so non-District 219. They had to be able to drive themselves. We also wanted to ensure that, or there were questions about whether there were formal agreements because now our students are off-site doing something. And so I think hands down, people support the idea and want for more teachers in education, more students to go into education and go into the field, but want an opportunity to formalize some of the agreements with our sender districts and also make sure that it is accessible to all students in the path of education for which they want to pursue.
Well, as,
Maybe, if you will, what is the plan for the transportation?
So
that was the issue, I
We're doing it because we want to figure all those things out. And we will work with students who are currently, one of the things that was expressed last month was that we're doing it already and we want them to get credit for it. So we want to look at ways in which we can provide them with that opportunity still, make sure that they are still in our care and safety, and we have formal agreements in place for them to pursue those opportunities. And we're going to work with them on a case-by-case basis. But over the course of the year, if this course is delayed, we will use that time to make some formal agreements so that those systems and structures are in place for all students to be able to obtain those opportunities and pursue those internship experiences at the sender districts.
so I'm taking this to understand, Christine, that your recommendation is that we delay to make sure that we iron out some of those access and opportunity issues that were identified by both here at the board level, at the TLC level, and also I know that the folks who presented were also very open to hearing about that as well. Have they also had a conversation?
PA had spoken with the teacher who presented, and we have a plan in place for what we're going to do for the current students who are in the program, as well as how we can begin formal agreements with sender districts so that we can more formally place our students in their programs.
Okay, wonderful. Other discussion? So clarification on what the vote means. Currently at this moment, the administration is recommending to delay, to vote no, right? Because the motion is to approve. If you vote yes, that is to move this program forward. So I'm going to ask for a roll call.
Member Dr. Akras?
No.
Member Wisniewski?
No.
Member Dr. Ko?
No.
Member Stennett?
No.
Member Durr?
No.
Member Cooley?
No.
Member Wood?
No. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the new Culinary Arts 3 Global Cuisine course?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay. I like the renaming. I think it's much easier. I know that there was a lot of effort put into the names, so, and I don't mean that in any way ironically or snidely. There's no snide here.
That's right.
Zero snide. Any discussion about the course itself? Okay. May I have a roll call?
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the revised change college business to AP Business with Personal Finance? May I have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Okay. May I have a roll call?
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the revised Business Strategies and Business Incubator Program to meet public speaking requirements?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Seems to me this would fall into the same category as the world languages, Christine? Okay. All right. Any other discussion? May I have a roll call?
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the new cybersecurity course?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I appreciate that this is an ever-changing landscape, cybersecurity, and given that the old cybersecurity will now be called something about networking, that's it. And now the new cybersecurity, and there was conversation about transcripts and making sure that the kids are all reflected appropriately in the learning that they have. I'm excited to see what we're going to see next year coming out down the pike with this. So, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. I'm excited for you, Christine. Go forth and enroll students in all these wonderful classes. We certainly appreciate all the time and effort that you and the TLC put into this. So thank you to all of the presenters who took the time to be thoughtful and reflective about their classes. We appreciate it. Now we are on to item C, dual credit MOU between D219 and Loyola 2526.
All right, so this is an MOU that's brought to the board annually. We are still revising our NEIU one, which is why it's not grouped with this one, so that may come at a later board meeting. But this is for the courses for which students earn both high school credit and college credit if they complete the dual credit application, are accepted to Loyola University in Chicago. What's great about this is that they're earning college credit while they're enrolled in our courses at a heavily discounted rate. So the courses are at a cost of $65 per credit hour, so a $195 course for something that typically would cost a student $3,000 at Loyola. So this is a great thing that our teachers in the courses support and really work with Loyola and our students to be successful in the course.
Terrific. I believe Noor had a question.
Could you just clarify, Christine, that for students who do the dual credit with Oakton College, that's a one-time fee? And the second question is there a difference between the credits earned through dual credit at Oakton, for example, and at Loyola? Like, are some of them non-transferable to some universities, or could you just clarify that?
Sure. So in terms of tuition cost, Loyola and NEIU, but Loyola's is the one for tonight, they have requirements for each course for which you're enrolled as a dual credit student. So let's say that you are enrolled in both environmental science and Hebrew with us and do dual credit, you would have 2 course fees, so 195 times 2. Whereas Oakton, it's a one-time fee, and any course that you take dual credit with Oakton, after that one-time $25 fee, each of the remaining courses is waived for that fee. So you can take 15 or you can take 1, it would cost $25 total. In terms of the transferability of courses, the receiving university, it's up to them as to what courses they want to accept. So generally speaking, Loyola's courses will be more transferable, but again, it depends on the type of course, the program for which you are wanting the courses to be transferred to. There's a lot of factors that a university looks at and utilizes when determining how the courses would be transferred in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Christine? Okay, any discussion? Okay. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the dual credit memorandum of understanding between Niles Township High School District 219 and Loyola University Chicago?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I think this is one more way that D219 opens up paths for our kids. As I will quote from someone from last night's 8th grade transition meeting, no other time in your life can you do so many cool things and not have to pay for it. So while there is a fee associated with the Loyola credit, the amount that you are saving your grown-ups is extraordinary. Any other discussion? May I have a roll call?
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Dr. Akros?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. Thank you, Christine. All right, I call to the dais Ray, going over calendar, and I can't believe I'm saying this, 2028, 2029.
Hi, and thank you for having me back. We are presenting the 28-29 school year calendar. As you guys are aware, just a quick reminder, the guidelines that we try to follow each year is to have 179 student attendance days, 3 institute days, 1 in August, and then 1 each semester following the CBA guidelines between 10 and 12 weeks. The guideline is there for first semester. It's not there for second semester, but for just symmetry's sake, we try to follow that. We also like to build in 3 consecutive days for finals before winter break and before Memorial Day. We have our set holidays. The one that alternates is General Election Day, and on even years, we'll take that day off. That one is missing from the attachment there, so I will make that correction. It will be November 7th of 2028. That will be a non-workday, non-student attendance day. And then from there, just some things that are good practice. Try to keep equal days between the first and second semester. Create a break between summer school second session and first semester. And then the Niles Township School, the NTSA, the Center School Association, we have a guidance where we would like, the guidance is to have the last week of March, as long as there's 3 weekdays, to have spring break on that week. So, given those things, now it's not always perfect, depending on how the days fall of each month. Given those guidelines, we have our proposal for the 28-29 school year. You guys will see on page 2 that the school year will start on the 14th. The school year will end on the 25th. You will see the days off, holidays in green. You will see open house, parent-teacher conference in gray. And then Institute Day, I should say, is also in green as well. The marking periods, we try our best to just make equal and not end midweek. I think teachers prefer that as well. And then the schedule for late starts, capstone, and graduation will be announced at a later date.
Okay. Questions for Ray at this time? I'd like to thank Ray for his continued efforts in helping families in District 219 and the community in general plan farther ahead than the February that their kid enters freshman year. So I really appreciate that. One clarifying question on this calendar, Ray, if we add in November 7th, which is not a day off, that is a day for everyone to go and exercise their civic rights and abilities to go and vote. Does that shift our start or end days at all?
No. So when I build the calendar, I'll first start with what I call the stakeholder calendar. It models what the work calendar, the template, the work calendar looks like for all of our staff. So on there, I already have November 7th off with the 179 days, with the 3 institute days. On the web version, I just didn't change the November 7th from a white cell to a green cell. So the days are accounted for.
Just a visual representation issue.
There's going to be a year when I don't mess up the calendar. It's going to be next year.
You know what? Let's look for next year, Ray.
It's
I'm
gonna
looking
be
forward
next
to
year.
it.
I
I'm
don't know
looking
why,
forward
but
to it.
I always make a mistake on this. So that's the mistake on this. November 7th, it's just a color coding error, but the days count, the day count is correct.
Ray, should this be the biggest mistake you make? Fine. Any other questions around the 28-29 calendar? Okay. May I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the 2028-2029 District 219 school calendar?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Member Dr. Akras?
Yes.
Member Stennett?
Yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Dr. Koh?
Yes.
Member Cooley?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Ray. Now I call to the dais Jim Freeland. He's going to talk about the Niles Township Demographic and Enrollment Study. This is a topic that we had some discussion on at Finance and felt that this was very important for folks to hear. Good night, sleep well. We hope whatever happens in school tomorrow, tests, exams, you do well. We wanted Jim to come forward and speak about it, and we can actually have our discussion and action then.
So good evening. As President Wood indicated, this was a topic that we brought up for Finance Committee. Dr. Casarda was the last demographic study for the district done in about 2000. And so as a district, we track the trends of enrollment coming from the sender districts, but we don't have a full picture of maybe birth rates coming from the county, move in, move outs. And so this would give us a better idea of trends. And so what this gentleman would do is look at all of the sender districts as a holistic picture, looking at live birth data from the county, looking at housing trends, apartment complexes, and kind of create a baseline understanding for the district as a whole of what's happening with our enrollment over the next 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. Out of this work, he would issue a report for each of the sender districts themselves that would be good for a 10-year period. And then our report, while he says it's accurate for 20 years, we know that the data is really only as good as it is at that specific point in time. So what I like about it and what I think it gives us some predictability to understand some trends and gives us the ability to be proactive in planning. Do we need to think about, additions on a building if there was an influx of that? Do we need to think about programmatic needs instructionally for different programs depending on if there's an increase in special education population or multilingual population? It gives us all of that information to kind of help inform our planning moving forward, not only instructionally, but financially.
Jim, can you talk a little bit about what Dr. Casarda, what access to what data he will be able to have that we don't currently have access to,
Correct.
given that we have our students? What do you mean?
Correct. We have our students and we have the enrollments coming from our senders. He will be able to look at that from the state report cards, but he'll have data from realtors and different elements from the county, be able to break that down a little bit farther than we have access to, so he's able to get a more nuanced picture of what that data truly looks like.
Okay. Any other questions for Jim? Jim, can you talk a little bit about why it doesn't look like there was an RFP for this, that we have
Correct.
a single, I mean, other than the fact that we're asking for a demographer, like how many are there? But can you kind of talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
the policy that backs that up?
Correct. So this is considered a purchase service, so the district has discretion on kind of who they engage with contracts with. And also too, because this is kind of a niched market, it's also would be kind of considered a sole source vendor situation where we're kind of limited in the scope of who has the ability to complete the scope of this work.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions? Okay. Guys, you're making me draw this out. It's only 8:30.
Just if I could,
Yeah, go ahead.
just the notion that this isn't just for us, the fact that it's for our sender schools also, it's part of, I think, being a good neighbor and supporting them in that they're all our kids, as you always say. So this idea of this is something that we will share with all the senders. I've met with the superintendents, and this information will be useful throughout our beyond us.
Agreed. I think that for me, that is one of the key pieces of why the expense is not significant. It's not couch change, but it's not significant. But as we've said before, every kid at every sender school is a D219 kid, just maybe not yet. So anything that we can do to help make sure that they've got a safe landing when they get here, the right size spaces, the right size everything, right? The right number of teachers. The fact that we're doing it in a methodical and forward-thinking, planful way. I think this goes to show the general good stewardship that the business office we've come to expect. So in light of all of that, may I have a motion for the Board of Education to approve the demographic and enrollment study for Niles Township?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Member Dr. Koh,
Yes.
Member Cooley,
Yes.
Member Durr,
Yes.
Member Wisniewski,
Yes.
Member Stennett,
Yes.
Member Dr. Akras,
Yes.
Member Wood.
Yes. Thank you, Jim. Jim, don't go too far. There has been, we're at the section of new business, and this is hardly new business, but I was wondering if you could take a few minutes and I'd like for you to provide a little bit of an education about what we've read in the news. The government has shut down, the federal government at least has shut down, and also Cook County has caused significant delays in tax payment, which, as we know, the way that our school system is funded directly can or could impact us. So Jim, if you can talk a little bit, and I do mean a little bit, about kind of what the, what's going on.
Sure.
And also the direct impact on both of those items to us, both today and potentially in the future.
Sure. I think it's easier to start with the government shutdown. Budgetarily wise, the federal dollars the district receives is minimal when you think about the overall scope of how we function. Those dollars are still going to flow through. We've already submitted our first round of expenditure reports to the state. The state reimburses us. They get the reimbursement from the federal government. So I'm not while there may be delays in some of those payments, I'm not overly concerned about those revenues because it's such a small portion of how our budget functions. Those monies will still continue to come in. The local property tax side is probably more problematic if a district doesn't have healthy cash reserves, which we do. If you remember from the budget presentation, I talked about we had over 300 days of cash on hand. That's the number of days we can operate if we received absolutely no revenue from any source, state, local, or federal.
And I'm not great at math, but Ray just told us that our school year is 179 days, and if we've got over 300 days, we're probably okay.
We're okay. We are watching carefully. There was a treasurer's meeting yesterday. That question was asked by all of the senders as, do we have an update? There is no update. The process works by the treasurer. The Cook County treasurer is the one that collects the funds from homeowners and property owners and then disperses them to the district. No bills have been issued yet. Now, living in Cook County, I just got my assessment, so I'm hopeful that that's a little light at the end of the tunnel. But there is no definitive date release yet from the county in terms of that piece. So they are working proactively with districts that are cash strapped on strategies for loans. That's something that we won't pursue because we are over the days of cash on hand.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the board? Any concerns that you've heard echoed through the community? Again, good financial fiscal stewardship. We appreciate it, and I think we appreciate it even more in these times. So thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Now let's actually talk about new business. Any new business from any member of the board? Okay, seeing none. Superintendent's report.
All right, strategic planning. Thanks to everyone that came out to our community events last month at Niles North and Niles West. Along with the survey, that was an important piece to the strategic planning efforts. And we've actually, in addition to our parents and families, we've had input from our students where we had time during homerooms for our students to give their feedback to it, and our staff. So as this is being gathered and put together, we'll work on identifying our priorities and action steps, and we'll share that with you. I'd expect a large strategic plan report in January and a large special ed report in December. That's assuming everything gets done in the next, but we're on track, I would say. Speaking of students and staff, a good number of people reached out to me before I saw it. Including our board chair, about the article in the Skokie Patch newspaper with the niche rankings. And it's the great news that D219 was ranked to be the 33rd best school district in the entire country. And, you always want to say you always want to say that, like, I used to feel like I'm not going to even celebrate this because I'm not celebrating real estate. But that is something niche. That's how this website was created 11 years ago, as a real estate website to go through with schools and what is going on in your local schools. So no matter what, the fact that there is a national program that looks at this district and has us in the top 50, top 40, top 35 districts in this entire country is rather remarkable. And I just love how it talked about the relationship between teachers and students. A lot of this is based on student and family feedback. So I just want to thank the staff and our kids for what they do every day to create this positive climbing culture. And it can be, as we're here, inevitably we kind of always ask, what can we do better? And that is incumbent on us to always say, how can we do better? It's also important for us to note at times when, like, oh, this is a pretty great place to be, and we are getting that recognition, something that we've talked about for a long time. How do we go about getting this recognition? We've had a lot of it lately, and it is just, I'm just so happy for our kids. because the truth is, it matters. Districts get known, and districts get known to colleges, to jobs. This is something that does matter, and D219's getting out there more and more to more and more places is just a great feather in our cap. So I'm very proud of all the people that I'm fortunate enough to spend my work weeks with. Now, last Friday night, we had a very exciting Skokie skirmish, one in overtime by Niles North on a ridiculous late touchdown 2-point conversion. There was about 500 penalties in the game, not by dirty play either, just by flag happy officials that made me get home very late. But anyway, one of the highlights was that we did do an announcement at that game to try to make it a little more fun, more interesting about graduation. So officially, Niles North graduation ceremony will take place in Northwestern. The feedback last year from Northwestern was just, this is a wonderful environment. This fits our kids, this fits our district. This is what we deserve in a setting like this. We can't have everything. It won't be perfect though, because sometimes, and so Niles North will graduate Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. Niles West will take place Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. These weeknight dates are posted on our web announcements as well as on the graduation webpage, where families will find additional details as the event gets closer. So again, more time. There's some tweaks to the final schedule just to make sure for seniors that'll be a little bit different as they go through, but I think it'll work out very well for people, and people have been very happy with that overall. A reminder, parent-teacher conferences and signups are out there, and if you have any issues with your signups, please let us know. Thursday, October 31st, I'm sorry, 30th. Did I say 31st? Thursday, October 30th, students will be dismissed at 2:11 p.m., roughly, and conferences will begin virtually at 4. The conferences give parents and guardians an opportunity to connect on their child's teachers about academic progress and classroom learning. And we do these remotely to try to make sure parents can attend. We know that this is something
I don't know any parent who has the stamina to make it through every one of those, having ran my child's schedule before. It's you're moving the whole time.
Exactly.
So as somebody who's participated on those online parent-teacher conferences, it is lovely just to keep popping into that virtual room, and there's that smiling teacher there. So
Absolutely. So we aim to please. And a couple other things to note, non-attendance days coming up. A couple quick reminders in October. No school Monday, October 13th, which is Indigenous Peoples Day. District office will be closed. I always say to people, that's a lovely weekend for people that are thinking about college, and you don't have to wait till senior year to go visit a place. Just drive through and look at it and visit. And the best piece of advice I can give parents, since I have a moment of time, if you'll give me this, on a college visit, a recruiter said this to me once, and I used it with my own 2 kids. Unfortunately, it was after my first visit with my son. When you take your child through a college and you go to the campus, bring something for them to write with, drive away, have them write for 20 minutes what they thought, and do not give your opinion about that place for a half an hour. Do not speak as a parent, because sometimes what we say creates a reaction. Sometimes they think we're pushing, sometimes they think otherwise. Let them write, marinate, and think what they think. And it actually, I think that is the single best piece of advice I've ever gotten about this topic. So tuck that away. There's one thing I can help people with. Also, no school for students on Friday, October 31st. So with that, as the temperatures get cool, have a great autumn, everybody.
thank you, Tom, to you for your leadership, and the administration, the dedicated teachers, staff, professionals who come and make our school district world-class and certainly 33rd in the nation. So we are going to move on to board committee reports. We'll start with finance. Finance committee, we had several discussions around some of the topics we both voted on this evening, as well in the consent agenda, as well as in the discussion here. We also, Jim and the team are moving forward for the Meritorious Budget Award, which we are very excited for. The transparency alone that this provides is terrific. So equity, we are very lucky that Dr. Haskins is leading our charge with the new equity committee meeting. The equity committee has been reimagined from last year. The real new focus that we are working towards is looking at things through the lens of access and opportunity. Dr. Haskins, did you want to come up? Is there anything that you wanted to bring? I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So if there's something you'd like to bring towards the dais, you're welcome to. One of the charges that we walked out of that meeting with is that each of us as board members sit on various committees throughout the district, and we are charged with going back to those committees and asking to make sure that we are looking at things through the lens of both access and equity. So one of the examples that I gave in our discussion last week before last, was the idea that Special Olympics is sidelined into a particular silo. Those kids are athletes, just like the rest of our athletes, and should be given access and opportunity. So that's one of those lenses that we want to be able to kind of look towards. Dr. Haskins, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, you stole my thunder. No, really, I think emphasizing that, looking at equity through the lens of access and opportunity, that is really our focus, and making sure that we all have a common understanding of what that means, right? Access being opening the doors, right? And opportunity being what happens once you're inside, right? The resources, and supports that we can provide our students. We have such a plethora of opportunities and experiences that we can offer students. And so that's really going to be our focus. And I'm excited about the partnerships that we have in this work with all of the committees. We each belong to a committee, so we want to make sure that we're asking those equity-focused questions. And I think that's really it. We have this opportunity. I said in the beginning, I'm so grateful to be in a district where we have this structure and this sacred space here to be able to have these conversations, to dig a little deeper than we can in a regular board business meeting. And we've got great people leading and supporting our work. So thank you.
Wonderful. So Dr. Haskins is one of the best talent incubators I've met in quite some time. So she keeps raising people up and raising their voices, and these are the wonderful things that we are getting out of it. Ken, you wanted to add something to equity?
Yeah, I just wanted to commend Dr. Haskins, Mr. Hunter, and the others that you're working with. I don't think my impression of the change of pace isn't just my own. It was very educational, it was very conversational, it was very purpose-driven. I feel the program is being elevated a level. So, I know there were people who were kind of frightened by organizational changes and paying more attention to titles, but I'm more concerned about results, and I think the direction that's been set, we will get the results that we're seeking. So.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Since we're at you, Ken, TSCI?
Yes, so we met on the 25th, and we covered this school year's assignments and meeting dates, a draft of our handbook. We discussed updates in AI in Illinois, Google Gemini is part of our Google Workspace, ClassLink rollout, which is our SSO, single sign-on solution for the district, CyberNet, which we're using for our cybersecurity training, and how it uses gamification to help promote good hygiene, Magic School, that's our AI tool for educators and students. And that was pretty much it, I believe.
Okay, wonderful. Noor, for insurance?
Yes. So we met on September 15th, and we discussed the move over to Blue Cross Blue Shield that happened over the summer. There was some issues with, well, multiple issues, I guess, with sometimes the cards weren't showing up, they didn't carry over deductibles, et cetera, et cetera. So HR was working through that, and they had reimbursed us for some of the errors. Then there was also a move over to CVS as the pharmacy partner, and that was a really good rollover. And year to date, they've saved us since July $18,000. And then there's a new program that we have enrolled in, which is called First Stop Health, which is it's a really fascinating program, and I encourage people to take advantage of it. It offers free virtual care offerings to all employees and their families, so that includes your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, whoever. They have primary care, urgent care, mental health, and part of the partnership with them is that if the district didn't meet 40% utilization, they guaranteed money back. And they also include a crisis management hotline. And then next steps in terms of wellness is in October, there's going to be a focus on biometric screens and flu shots. And people can share their biometric screen with their PCP and be eligible for a $150 gift card from among 1,000 different vendors. And next steps for insurance committee is rebuilding the wellness committee and data of aggregate trends of claims to target demographics to try to be proactive on different things to keep our claims down. And
Wonderful. Thank you, Noor. The Teaching and Learning Council, Lindley and Candace?
Yes, so we met yesterday.
Mhm.
And mostly discussed our, the big chunk was the Institute Days and how that works, essentially the schedule for the day, and they worked out kinks to make sure that that works for everyone. And then also discussed, so yeah, the proposals and the schedule for that, and then also discussed capstone and the school day.
Right, which one, they're kind of deciding on which one they want to take on
Yes.
as the project for what they want to work through and see how they can improve it. So,
Which seems to be capstone.
yeah,
At the helm there, yeah.
That's kind of the winner right now.
Because there's more to work with too, like the school day, while it's definitely something to discuss, it's sort of more like in a box already. And I feel like there's just like a lot more that they can dig into with the capstone thing.
Yeah, I feel like they feel like it's an immediate need.
Yes.
So like it's
There
something
was a
that they-
discussion of immediacy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
needs to
Yeah.
work on now, so.
Wonderful.
I forgot one.
Sure, Ken.
Well, two things. There's a network audit that's coming up.
Oh,
for
okay.
our 30-year-old cabling, so for our wired and our wireless networks.
Oh, boy.
And I'd be remiss not to remind everyone, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, October, so I think there'll be some sort of campaign to kick off with CyberNet to go along with that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Ken. October will be a busy committee meeting month. We've got facilities, EPAC, policy, CFC, and it looks like we are TBD for the Joint Stipend Council during October as well. So we look forward to a full board report in November, which will be on November 11th. Any other board committee reports or conversation? No? Okay. The information for FOIA and monthly financial report has been provided. I hate to break it to you guys, it's before 9 o'clock. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Member Cooley? Member Cooley?
You want to go home?
Yes, yes.
Member Stunnett?
Yes.
Member Dr. Ko? Member Dr. Akras?
yes.
Member Wisniewski?
Yes.
Member Durr?
Yes.
Member Wood?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you all for your work this evening. Have a wonderful October. Enjoy your committees, and I'll see you next month.
You overachiever. Look at that. It's not even 9 o'clock.
It's not 11:30.